Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. To catch everybody up on what's going on today, I'm at my parents today. I just went and picked up Allison's transmission from Jeff's, and I've hauled it here so that me and my dad can take a part of it. Jeff has put me in charge of getting this transmission fixed, doing whatever I have to do. If we can't get it fixed, it's probably going to go to Dion, but I'm confident my dad and I can figure out what's going on with this thing. So we've got it in the back of the Suburban here. We've got to get it unloaded. I've got all 3 converters. Hopefully we can figure out what's wrong with this thing. I'm confident that my dad will be able to figure it out, since, you know, he's a little more savvy with GM transmissions more than Jeff is. Hopefully we are going to figure it out today and finally move on from this problem. So here we go. Thank you. Converter on. I think something happened.
Please make it happen. Please.
I'm telling you. I think something's wrong with this thing. You can try. You try.
I can't do it any worse. I mean, yeah, we're just gonna give her a whirl, son. Yeah. Stick her tail down in there. All right, so which converter is this?
This is the new Jegs converter.
Are you sure that's the one you want to use?
Yes.
Okay. And it has no fluid in it yet?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Alright. So here's what I'm going to attempt to do. I don't know if you can film down in there, but the pump, the lugs of the pump that the snout of the converter is supposed to fit down on, what I want to do is I want to line those up at 12 and 6 o'clock. And if you notice, they move around quite a bit, which is good. But I want to line those up at 12 and 6. And then I need a silver marker. Can you find me a silver marker? Over here on the face. See how that's marked on the face? So I can tell. I actually got that off a little bit. But I want to mark the face of the converter so that I can tell where those drive lugs are at. Alright, so check. That looks like the depth that you guys have had it in so far.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to me that it's dropped in any farther than what you guys have gotten. It should be the same.
I must say, this is a new technique I've never seen before.
Alright, I can feel the input shaft spinning inside the converter. So I can feel the splines, you know what I mean? Spin it. Alright, now it stops. So that tells me that we now have engagement between the sprag and the input shaft. So now the next step is sliding down on the stator tube. So my question is now, is it binding up on the pad of the converter or is it binding up on the snout?
I can call him and ask.
Well, what I need to know is I need to know the measurement off the back of the bell housing to the face of the flex plate where the flex plate bolts to the converter. I need to know that measurement.
Here, I'm calling him.
What I just did was I went out back and I've got a plethora of small block Chevys laying back there, and I have one that has a flex plate bolted to the crank. And I took a measurement off the back of the bell housing right here. Took a measurement off the back of the bell housing to the face of the flex plate, and it measures exactly 1 inch. And right here I've got, I think, 1 inch and 1/8. I've got 1 inch and 1/16 right here. I've got 1 inch and 1/8. So that's 1/8 of an inch clearance that once you put the transmission up in, you've got 1/8 of an inch clearance to turn the converter and then pull it forward. So I need to know if the measurement on that Mopar is the same as a Chevy, which it should be, because the converter that came out of it is supposedly just a standard turbo 350 converter. If that's the case, we shouldn't have a problem unless the snout on the transmission or on the snout on the converter is binding up somehow in the crankshaft of the 340, or if for some reason that flex plate's bent. Like if the flex plate has a bad spot in it, it'll cause it to bind up. Have we had the flex plate off the engine yet to check for straightness and flatness?
No.
Because by my measurements, this converter's in all the way. Hey, so your 8,900 and change is less than 1 inch, and I measure 1 inch on my small block Chevy out back.
I just checked, and it's about 900 about
Okay, so 900 is still a 1/10 of an inch less than the 1 inch that we need to clear the small block Chevy, a stock small block Chevy. You see what I'm saying? So this, right. So this converter, the way I've got it in right now, has to be in all the way. Let's do this, Jeff. Let's have the kids bring the converters back over to you, and before you touch that bushing, let's see if you can get any of these converters to slide in that bushing easily.
Yeah, I almost did that before he left, because that's something I had never done, was try to put the converter up against the flex plate without the transmission.
All right. Let's try and do that before we do any modifications. Let's send the kids back over with this transmission. I've got the converter in it. Let's send it back over and have you take a measurement and see if any of these other converters will slide in that flex plate.
Hello, children.
Put us in charge of the transmission problem and get shit done.
We ain't got shit done yet.
I know. But we're figuring stuff out.
Oh, look at here,
He's already discovered something.
You know what my favorite part of that is?
What?
The big M for Mosier.
Yeah, we like that part too now.
Yeah, dude, that's my fault, man. Look at that bushing in there. I had never even noticed it before.
I got a sore shoulder for some reason.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
I said about a half hour ago.
Oh. Oh.
That's what I said about a half hour ago.
Oh.
I never noticed that.
Well, that's a horse of a different color.
That's what I was going to say.
That's from the Wizard of Oz for you youngins. Look it up. I'll get one of you to bring me a converter and some something to mop up the inevitable transmission fluid, which I am about to leak on Jeff FFO's floor.
That'll be 5 lashings.
Yeah.
Left shoulder, that's... Oh my God.
Mine's my right shoulder.
We sound like an eating bird and driving crazy.
Okay. It goes right in.
Does it?
The one that,
Which one? The old one?
the original one,
Yeah.
it goes right in.
Yeah.
Like no trouble.
Mm-hmm. How much wobble's in it?
A lot.
Okay. That's the only one he brought in?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
jeez.
far.
That's a hint.
As much slop as I saw in that other one, I can't imagine this one would be hardly any different. Oh, here we go. You got a drain pan? And some rags.
Over there.
That's all right. Let me drain some out of it. Much tighter, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
It will go, but it
Not
is.
surprised.
Uh-oh, hang on. I see a problem. Jeffrey,
Yep.
I see the problem.
What you got, young man?
See the ears?
Oh, that's a problem.
The ears hit the ring.
That's a problem.
That's where our problem lies.
Well, we need the Jags one because. See, now, where's the dart one? Where'd it go?
The kids took it out from under here. Okay, guys, so here's what we found. I think this is it. This is the original converter that came out of the dart. And as you can see, there is a recessed flex plate here. This is your ring gear, and there's a recess where the converter bolts to the flex plate. It's recessed behind the ring gear. And with the original converter, there's clearance here between the ear of the converter and the ring gear right here. There's clearance there. But on the two newer converters that we've already purchased, mine and the one your dad or her dad bought, the ears stick out here farther and they hit this ring gear. So when you guys go to bolt the transmission up, these ears are hitting the ring gear and they're not able to recess back in behind the ring gear to make contact with the flex plate like it should. So at first glance, it seems like the converter's not in all the way, but the reality is that it is in all the way. It's just the dimension here, the recess of the flex plate behind the ring gear is more than the converter clearance between the flex plate and the face of the converter is. I'm sorry, I'm not able to put it into words very well, but I think that's the case. So what we need to do is just cut off and clearance the ears on these other converters so that they fit back in behind this ring gear and they don't stick out so far.
Yeah, because I never did.
Get it to drop any farther than that.
Well, they all dropped the same, and then obviously yours and the Jags one bound up. I never did get to the point where I put the old one back in and bolted it up to the block.
Oh.
Because I'm like, well, why? I know it fits.
Right.
I mean, what was the point? So I never did that. Hindsight, maybe I should have.
Well, what I told the kids was it's not natural to do what we're doing. So you've never done it.
Oh, no, no,
I've never done it.
This is
Right.
all. This is Klingon stuff.
He said it, not me.
No, that doesn't mean Mopar stuff. This is true Klingon stuff. All right, Thomas.
Muscles.
I don't think it matters how many times we put these converters in and out. They're all going to go in the same amount.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah. Oh, the cickery here doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I can see. Look how big those ears are.
See, that's a billet plate on that one.
See how big this ear is
Yeah.
out here? That's what's hitting the flex. It's hitting the ring gear on the flex plate, and then it's not allowing the converter to come forward. I would not feel bad about cutting mine
Oh, I
up.
would. No, we're not going to do that.
I would.
Can we get a different flex
We're not
plate?
doing that.
No, the ring gear on the flex plate has to be where it's at to line up with the starter gear. So there's no way to change that.
So this is on the smaller pattern. So the radius of these
Yes.
is on the smaller pattern.
Yes. So
It has nothing to do with this thickness.
no.
That has nothing to do with it. It's just the fact. It's the
Yeah, it's the dimension from the center line of the converter to the outside edge of the ear.
yeah. And the other three converters have the second set, which is a larger radius, which puts this edge out
Yes.
onto the ring gear.
Yes.
You got it.
So
Because what
you're
I
gonna
could-
have to cut through that hole,
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Not on this one. But
which
yeah.
means you'll never be able to use that hole again.
Yeah, which is the reason this is going back
The only
to Bill.
thing that sucks is when you cut these with a death wheel like that. It's gonna throw it out of balance just a little. You know, because you're not. I don't know how much you're gonna be out of balance, but I mean they're balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to try and get it as close as you can.
Well, I could make a template.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Could do the first one, make a template, and just apply it to the other two.
There you go.
Whenever I'm done.
There you go. I mean, I wouldn't do it like maybe I would probably do it at Friday night at 6 o'clock, and we're trying to go racing at 8. Or it's, you know, Sawzall.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. But I think
See, the
that's-
only other way to fix it would be to relieve this backside, so the flex plate would be up in there,
yes, you could do that.
and you
too.
never have to hack these off.
Yes, you could do that.
But I don't have a lathe big enough to do that. I can't chuck that up in mine. You need a big lathe to do that because that's a lot of weight spinning. Now I could do it on the mill though.
Yeah, you could do it on the
I can
mill.
set that thing in the mill and mill those ears off on that one.
Yeah, you could do
I
that.
could just mill them thinner.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could do that. You could just recess it for the flex plate.
I mean, on the backside.
Yeah,
Right.
just take your measurement,
Yeah,
whatever it
draw the
is,
same line.
and take 15 or 20 thousandths more, and then that'll give you that 15
Yes.
or 20 thousandths clearance.
Right.
And at this point, you could still return that converter.
Yeah,
but I don't wanna-
I don't want to cut your converter up.
I want you to.
I'm not hacking that up. Because you're going to need that someday.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. This is her converter now. Do with it as you please. I'm out.
The whole damage you can do.
Here's your tape measure. I don't want to get caught not putting tools back. All right,
Like
kids.
Craig.
All right, kids. I think you guys are on to something.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I knew it. It was just a matter of
It's
getting
just-
you here.
It's probably
I
just
don't-
the fact that I haven't been frustrated to death with it for like a week or 2 weeks. And my car's not buried in the back where you can't get it out.
The difference was having the transmission out of the way.
Oh, yeah,
Because just like that bushing in the flex plate, I never even saw that before tonight.
yeah.
Because I've never had that view of the back of the engine before, because the transmission's always been just out of the way far enough to get the converter in and out.
So this thing might be running in a few days.
No.
What?
I haven't touched the wiring in like 2 weeks on this thing.
What?
But that's why we need him to finish your wiring.
Sure. Hang on.
Hey,
Hang
you know what
on.
I told her the other day what we were going to do? Should I even tell him? He's already on it. Look at him. He's already got my stuff right
Look,
there.
Here.
That's all I need.
I would like you to finish the wiring on this car.
That's all I need.
I know.
And a little bit of heat shrink.
How about some electrical tape?
Perfect. No, I told Allison the other day, when you guys bring this over for me to wire the nitrous, just as a joke, I was going to use wire nuts with heat shrink and say it's perfect. Just to get your reaction.
There. Bill, that's for you. That's complimentary.
Hey, that's good stuff.
That is complimentary. That's for your next wiring project. Wait a minute, it gets better. You know what? No, that's crap.
What?
This is the good stuff. Give me this.
Ooh, that is the good. That's Scotch. Like, it doesn't get better than Super 33 Plus.
Well, that's the stuff that you and I would walk past in the store.
Yeah, because we can't afford it.
When it comes in that handy carrying case.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Gets better.
Plus, I can put Monster GT screws and accessories in this little case after it's gone.
I think this is the, there you go, that's a second, that's for your time tonight and your expertise. Now you're up to Super 66.
I'm going home. Good night.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Yep.
So Jeff has made a converter sandwich.
This is how we're going to solve it. We're going to run no transmission. We're going to run 2 converters back to back. And I'm going to weld the drive shaft directly to this. Should be
It's
awesome.
one gear.
Should be awesome.
One really long gear.
It's like a boat.
There are gonna be people who are gonna believe that.
So what he's done is actually pretty smart. I got to give it up for Jeff here. So since this is what we need gone right here, he's gonna have. He's already scribed it. This is the converter that fits with the smaller ears, and this is what we need milled right here. So take off only what we need to take off. Of course, this converter will never be able to be used because that hole will be gone, but it's going to be okay.
It's just going to be thinner.
Right. But I mean, those holes are going to be because he's just making a recess.
Yeah.
So it'll
Just making that the thickness of that pad where it's marked up is just going to end up thinner.
yeah. So tomorrow we have to make. Well, I think they're going to make a trip to Jegs, and you guys need to pick up a fuel cell and what else?
Probably some brake lines for me, but
So we figured out that with our new rear end housing, we're not going to be able to get the old tank in. It's not going to fit anymore, and the only way to get around it is we're going to have to do a fuel cell.
I remember why. So one of the reasons that is, it's not solely based on the 9-inch, but if you recall, I moved the rear axle back 1.5 inches for 2 reasons. Remember what I was talking about? If you put this big of a tire on one of these, they hit right here. You remember me talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I got the frame relocation kit, I got the one that you could move the axle back to give you clearance here. So the axle is actually 1.5 inches further back. When you do that, that puts the axle was against the tank when we put it up there. So that has a lot to do with it. I'd easily sacrifice the tank for the tire clearance. Because the axle is exactly where it needs to be. First of all, it gets it away from here, but second of all, it really centers it in the opening of the fenders on these cars. They were always sitting a little forward,
So yeah, they're going to go tomorrow and pick up a 12-gallon fuel cell, and which that causes another problem since we're going to have the fuel cell technically in the driver's compartment. That means we need something in between the driver and obviously the fuel cell. So we're going to have to put some sheet metal across, probably behind the seat. Jeff says it's not a hard task. You just need to find a piece that is that big, and we'll get it all templated out and it'll work. But finally, we've got some relief. Let me turn this around.
I feel like progress has been made.
We weren't doing anything wrong. There was just one
Totally
little oddity of this combination that we just didn't see, and Bill.
I'm sure
we need another set of eyes, and Bill nailed it.
I'm sure not a lot of people have ever even had that issue. I mean, we've got such a weird combination here. Like, I don't know that anybody else probably has ever had that problem, but maybe we did help somebody out that's been having an issue that has been overlooking this.
Like,
so
we've got to help. We have to have at least helped one person out there.
Somebody out there.
Somebody
Hopefully.
understands our pain or is going to understand our pain.
So for everybody in the last video that commented, put a 727 in it, put a 904 on it. I was this close this week.
He was pricing one out.
This close. It's transmission, it's converter, the shifter would have to change. It just snowballs, and you're looking at $4,000. They really are. So drive shaft it probably has to change anyway, but it would be different. So and the other thing is the transmission cross member, which has been modified for this Klingon transmission, I would have to redo that too. So we'll be fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. So we will pick this back up tomorrow when they are going to go to Jags. And then tomorrow I think we'll put the center chunk in the rear end. If we can get some of this stuff done in time.
Yes, we'll get it in tomorrow.
Yep. So more progress tomorrow, and that's going to push closer to getting this thing back on the ground. Thank God. So we will pick this back up tomorrow.
Yep. See ya.